Hi, and welcome back to the 5th week of Lent as we continue in this hard and holy work together. So I've recently been recovering from a broken bone, and I'm currently in the middle of doing lots of rehab and physical therapy. At the end of each week, we measure my improvement. And so my expectation has been that each week I would be a little better than I was the previous week. However, the last time I actually couldn't do something as well as I had done it previously. And immediately these crocodile tears started streaming down my face. I was so upset with myself and so disappointed that I didn't feel like I was making the progress that I needed to be making. And my very kind physical therapist pulled me aside and he reminded me that healing is not a linear journey. It's not going to go perfectly. In the middle, things are hard and it's going to get messy. Some days are going to be worse than others. But the point is to keep taking that next step forward, to keep moving in the right trajectory. And he gave me the words of wisdom that I really needed to hear in the messy middle of this whole process. As we look at Exodus 16 this week, the Israelites are also in what we like to call the messy middle of the wilderness. This time they have no food, no water. They are unsure of what's next and are worried about how they are ever going to survive out there in the wilderness. They complain to Moses and say, wouldn't it have been better for us to just be in slavery in Egypt than to die here in the wilderness? But once again, God is paying attention to God's people, and God hears their cries for help, and suddenly they have what they need. There is manna for them to gather every morning and quail for them to eat in the evening. It's also here in the wilderness that God gives them the instruction to rest, to stop all their striving and to trust that God will provide for them one day at a time. You might think it's a strange instruction for God to give them to rest when they are in the middle of a crisis, when they don't know how they're going to survive day by day. But I think God has the end game in mind, and God knows that the only way we will make it through the messy middle struggles is to pace ourselves and to rest along the journey. I don't know about you all, but that can be hard for me to do sometimes, especially when it feels like there's so much work to be done, when it feels like the world is on fire. Rest almost feels presumptuous. We've got to get out there, we've got to get to work. But as I'm learning in my own recovery, in my own crisis right now, if I push too hard, if I try to do too much too quickly, my knee from my injury will actually swell. It will get too stiff and I won't be able to continue. I have to pace myself. I have to rest. And that's what we are invited to do too in this hard and holy work. And so as a group or on your own this week, I invite you to consider if you've ever felt stuck in the messy middle of something. Maybe you felt like you don't know how you're going to get out of this, but you're too far in to back out now. I like to say it's like you're going on a bear hunt, as the old children's rhyme goes, and you can't go over it, you can't go under it, you can't go around it. As you're making your way through the forest, you've got to go through it. I wonder what have been some of your learnings in the messy middles of your own life journey? And what role has rest played in your journey? How might you or your group lean into rest during this season of Lent and as you work for justice in your own city?